Well, they're going to be playing a parallel game, that game one recharge King of the Hill, and I'm interested to see how those strategies break down. We kind of jumped in mid-game, but we saw the hill being used as bait. We saw players prioritizing camo. I'm always a fan of more shock rifle perfects.
Yeah, and this is a perfect series here. Winner semifinal, is that an error? This got to be the winners finals. This got to be the grand finals, right? Magic Optic Gaming versus Space Station.
You can't have 4 teams in the finals. That's not how it works.
Well, and that really points to why this season's going to be so exciting, because while it looks like, yeah, Optic and FaZe probably going to be in a lot of those grand finals, there are 3, maybe even 4 teams that could very well steal that spot. Space Station, absolutely one of them. When you look at their performance last season, this roster never made less than top 2.
Never making less than top 2, and a big part of that has to be for looking at Charlotte. They need that pool play spot. They need it. They had a great showing over the weekend. That's going to help them out on the side of points, but much better if they can guarantee that top 6 placement and lock that spot down. That's what we're fighting for today. As we head into game number 2 here, FaZe, off of that nice win, have just the minutest of lead. They have the overshield in hand as well. But watch out. Monster has the plasma pistol, counters that overshield in the blink of an eye.
Goes down in the blink of an eye as well. So too do a few more of his teammates. Saw 3 down for just a split second there for that Believe the Hype squad. And now we're starting to see a little bit of a stagger. One by one, these players will not spawn in together. You might see a little bit of split and separation on that spawn, as yes, you're seeing Monster spawn out a little bit more towards that overshield side. And it's FaZe here with an opportunity to storm the castle with numbers.
Storming the castle's exactly right. Disrespectful push from FaZe as they show their dominance here. An 8-point lead. Renegade, no sniper ammo left, but they have the heat wave at the back of tower. Renegade gonna take on an aggressive fight, maybe an ego challenge that was too much for him, as he finds 2 players on the side of BTH ready to shut him down. This next round of slays, so the victor go the spoils, and the spoils are the new overshield.
Looking like more of the same from FaZe Clan as they've built that big lead, and it's looking like we have the start of this winners semifinals. Optic Gaming versus SSG, something you might hear quite frequently here throughout HCS season 2. This one's about to go down.
We'll try to keep you updated with the score and results of that FaZe BTH matchup, but it is time. Game number 1, semifinals. A clash of titans as Optic and SSG find themselves matched up yet again. These 8 players know every move. They almost got Santa Claus style. They see you and you're sleeping. They know when you're awake. They know every move that their opposing team, every strategy analyzed and broken down. What it comes down to, in your shots. It sounds as simple as that. But with how much information both of these teams have, it really depends on who is going to pop off at the needed time.
Both of these 2 teams not making a roster change. 2 of the only 3 teams in the offseason to not make a single roster change, as it's no wonder why.
Triple kill.
They don't need to change nothing. Bound, you're going to ride that Rookie of the Year all the way to the top as he earns himself the triple kill and the early lead here for SSG.
Bound showing why more than 90% of the pro players voted him in as that Rookie of the Year. 3-0 to start off this game. A little bit of hill time for Space Station. Here comes Formal around the corner. Formal's not going to back down from a fight. That fight ends up as a net trade. But TriPPPeY gets his foot onto the objective. Now he falls back. The information, the comms are there. He knows that Eco is at the back of C. He doesn't want to give up this position. He's going to drop down to recontest, but staying out of range of that dangerous repulsor. Perfectly played by TriPPPeY.
Yeah, and Space Station had that hot start, but their concern now is that it was really only Bound who was playing well. One of only 2 players on their team with a single slay. StelluR with not even an assist yet, so gonna need to get those numbers up a little bit, especially of the damage variety. So often in these matches, especially King of the Hill, damage, a big indicator of who wins these games. Hopping on board here with TriPPPeY. as he looks to rotate towards that A spawn. 2 players from SSG waiting, and that's going to be a 1v2 loss there for TriPPPeY, as 3 now going down for Optic, and SSG is finding 4.
Stopping that hill from climbing and going into the hands of Optic comes Space Station Gaming on the push. Pznguin, such a huge player in the games yesterday, a key player in why they find themselves here in the semifinals, and now leading the way as well for his team. He has 4 kills. He's gonna add, unfortunately, another death, but look at APG surviving with just 1 HP, and I think that's gonna be hill number 1 for Optic. Space Station need to regroup, and look at the overextension. APG, trusting his teammates to finish the capture, has already secured the 2nd hill.
Wow, excellent job there by Optic Gaming. Very rarely do you see a team score and then get that first foot in the next hill. Goes to show some of the domination that we expect from Optic, and it was all predicated by that team wipe. And that split there, we had Eco, the only player alive on gold, all 3 remaining members of his team spawning on the A side, as 2 look to split towards blue, 2 look to split towards long haul, but 3 get their head split and go down.
Definitely want to keep your head well attached to your body. Don't get it split. You're gonna hit the respawn screen and have to wait in timeout for 8 seconds. TriPPPeY sends bound there. You might be rookie of the year, but you can't do anything against this plasma grenade. And a return to sender after that. TriPPPeY, keep going. I tried to toss to Mikowski way too soon. TriPPPeY is still on this run. Okay, Mikowski's yours now.
And Optic Gaming is still scoring magic. 1-0, 2-0, climbing to a potential 3-0. There hasn't even been a minute off the game clock. Absolute domination here from Optic Gaming. SSG is going to need much more than bound to pop off if they want to win here. I believe on the right, we just saw FaZe winning that game 2 big. Almost a spectacular for them as they go up 2-0 on BTH. Optic up 2-0 here with the 2 seed. Gonna put down more players. Pznguin looking to change that. Finally, we see a little break, and this is a difficult hill to break, but we just saw SSG do it. All go down. Formal, the last player alive for Optic, with that camo coming up soon.
Difficult hill to break, and so Formal prioritizing the camo might just be the tool needed to break through the defense. But the second he activates it, he has like a walking target on his back. Space Station mark him as priority number 1. He's taken down. A little bit of a distraction though. APG rotating to the back of the base. Eco deals with that. Still holding on to the zone. So hard to attack this back elevator zone, but so easy to lock down.
Huge regain here from SSG, but it's an even bigger answer back from Optic Gaming as they take all 4 down and don't have quite enough to finish off this 3rd hill. They're going to face one more mounted push from this SSG roster, and Magic, with them being down 2-0, this might be the break right here.
Space Station need a break on this hill. They've forced themselves into an almost unwinnable position if they cannot get this 3rd hill, knowing the rotation of the next hill. And Eco, fortunate that Formal was out of ammo, gets the kill, but it's not enough because Lucid was there. It seemed like a pivotal win for Eco, but in a 1v2, he came up short.
Really tough there when that battle leads to another score for Optic Gaming, and with 3:45 on the clock, they're going to continue scoring here. First foot in the hill, time after time, Magic, despite scoring the previous hill here. So that's wild when you consider it's a guaranteed 3v4 push off the rip, just based off of a neutral standpoint, with that Optic player staying in that last hill to secure it. Space Station unable to take advantage of that. They've never had their foot in that first hill, and outside of that last hill, they haven't really put up much of a fight here, it feels like, against Optic.
Well, it's a tough thing to do when every player on Optic is going positive right now. Those slays are leading to the objective dominance that Optic Gaming is showing us in game 1, and Lucid fades out the rush because the repulsor is just on point to get the kill. And even with this, Optic Gaming, they have camo yet again. APG has 2 repulsors. They can bait this out for time, but they don't want to. They want to put a quick, clean 4-0 across the scoreboard.
Optic, a little shaky in King of the Hills. 4 and 5 in King of the Hill from the SSG Showdown 2 today. But when Lucid hits a 1.5 or greater in kill death ratio, his team wins 100% of the time. If he goes any less than that, 1.49 or less Magic, they only win 17% of the time. Looking towards that win condition on the kill feed, Lucid with that 2.0 KD. So that's going to be far and above where he needs to be at that 1.5. Far from the edge of that, as Optic is on the edge of a victory here in game one.
Shout out to Mr. Snow for feeding these stats. And we do the eye check. Lucid even above that 2.0. Only needed the 1.5 KD win percentage, win objective. Slaying the lead slayer on the team with 16. Optic Gaming still have this hill locked down. StelluR finally finding a few seconds of time, but he has to take down that 2.0 Lucid, and Lucid says, two for me, shock rifle for me, give me this win.
Just like that, though, Eco with the play with 1 HP. No, he goes down. Bound, though, taking down Formal. That should potentially give some favorable spawns for SSG, but look at APG grappling all the way into the back of Blue to stop off that push from A, but he's not able to survive it. Space Station mounting numbers and a potential comeback here, but it's going to take a lot, Magic. Down 3 with just 2 to go.
Bound correctly has long haul locked down because there's 3 Optic players there. Pznguin and StelluR each pick up a kill. But even while they have this zone sectioned off, they didn't have a player standing on it. So they didn't get as much time as you might have expected. APG is here to contest, and Bound hits the perfect with a shock rifle to send him right back. Space Station looking like they can finally put a hill on the board.
And this is big. SSG might go down to lose this game, but at least they made Optic work for it a little bit. You never want to give away a free kill in Halo, and my goodness, a free game is especially not what you want to give to any of these top teams. Down in that hill has SSG on the brink of potentially scoring here as they do that. Sending this hill over to Needles here, and don't look now, Magic, but maybe there's a chance here for SSG.
Well, they're going to need to mount the King of the Hill version of reverse sweep, and Bound with a perfect. He has damage on both TriPPPeY and Lucid. You see the assist does connect. 2 go down for other side. Eco cleans up a kill. Eco is punished. StelluR and TriPPPeY the only 2 alive for their teams right now, and they're going to be that clash. But off of the respawn, APG is ready. He's not going to run straight to the hill until they have a few more kills on the board. It's not safe to set foot in that hill, besides the fact that they could decide to play for time here.
Nah, there you saw Formal. He slid in only to take the angle on that player top glass. That was not for the sake of scoring, as we will in fact see Team Slayer for the duration of this game from Optic. They are not going to set foot in that hill again, and it makes perfect sense, Magic. Up to the next hill going towards bottom mid. We saw last game, perfect example, needing that at least 1 minute, really 90 seconds. Not enough time here for SSG.
APG with the double kill stops both players that were on the hill from Space Station. Eco's in the back of Pipes. StelluR is on the hill. We saw the killing spree earlier. Can he pull together another? Might be the only chance Space Station have. He has one with that shock rifle. He's looking for another, but it's Eco who claims the kill. And now Optic are going to need to watch that kill going over to Space Station because StelluR's defense is in place. He wants another killing spree. I think he's looking for the active camo as he shoots down to the bottom of Pipes. He finds Formal. He has him down to 1 shot, but Formal barely staying alive because of that camo.
Big play there from Formal. And it makes sense why Optic was able to grab that camo. They have no concern, no focus on scoring time. So it makes sense when you look at SSG, all the focus on that hill. So that means things like shock rifle, things like camo could squeak away to Optic, as they have in fact. Formal with a grapple hook to work with as well, and a killing spree on his stat sheet. Optic on the brink of winning this one.
Formal's so efficient on that kill, so decisive in his movement. Finds another headshot. All 4 go down for Space Station, and with 9 seconds on the clock, they're not going to make it back to the hill off of these respawns. Game number 1 is going to the number 2 seed, Optic Gaming.
And it's a big start for them, especially when you consider Optic has had some struggles here in game 1s, losing game 1s to Rebellion, losing game 1s to Native Red, not losing this game 1 to to SSG as we hop back on board with this FaZe Clan beat, I believe, the Hype series. FaZe Clan continuing their domination in their form here in this one as they're up 3-1 in game 3.
Now that game number 2, we caught the first glimpses, saw FaZe Clan with the lead. They held on to it through the duration of that game 2. StelluR on live fire end up winning 50-34, and it looks like they're just a train rolling down the tracks because nothing that BTH is doing is enough to slow FaZe down. Even though we missed the beginning of this game, the story is told on the scoreboard. FaZe are up 3-1. Both flags are out. And BTH, the one thing that they can hope for is they do luckily have enough time to fight their way back.
Enough time on the clock for that moment, but not anymore, you could argue, with 4 now on the board for FaZe Clan. A 3 spread here for BTH. And I don't know, maybe with 7 minutes, a cap every other minute or so could get you back in here in this BTH. They have figured out FaZe at least one time in this match, so a possibility here. Is it likely though? Probably not.
No, the chance of them coming back in this game is about the chances of lightning striking twice. They might have found that one capture. This game's gonna get reset. You already see the disconnect. Hopefully we can get back into the final stages of the capture the flag. 4-1. FaZe want to just finish this 5 captures through. You had talked about how Aquarius is maybe the only capture the flag map where it makes sense to play to 5, hoping that some of those larger maps could potentially be even switched to like a 3 cap limit, so we see more games going to score instead of to time, which is what FaZe is hoping to do here.
Snakebite, I think he recognized precision with that camo. Wasn't able to get a beat on him until that very moment. A little delayed there by Snakebite, but you'll delay and milk all the clock you can here. FaZe up 3 with just over 5.5 to go. Snakebite ultimately going down with one of my favorite weapons in the sandbox, that MK. I haven't really seen a lot of it here on Aquarius throughout these 4 days. You see plenty of that heat wave though. And Renegade, I want to talk about Renegade real quick, Magic. Renegade with a 1.33 on day 1 of the open qualifier. That's winners round 1 through 4 or 5 or so. That's a lot of amateur teams Renegade's playing against. Day 2, 1.36. So he was the only player out of the top 10 slayers from the open qualifier. He was the only one to increase his slayability on day 2, which tells me how do you slay out harder against the likes of the Optics and the phases, the BTH, the G1s of the world when you're playing against guys like Broth Boys instead on day 1. So no offense to Broth Boys, but it really goes to show how incredible that performance is from Renegade when you consider that he's turning up and heating up against the best in the world.
Really rising to the challenge is Renegade, that player that you just expect to see later in the bracket continue to improve and increase. You know, we talked about, you know, some emotional players. Sometimes they need to feel the intensity, need to feel the importance in order to perform at their best. It looks like Renegade is one of those players as well. FaZe Clan just 1 away, 1 capture left. They're running the flag. Frosty rotates through, the perfect timing on the thruster is gonna cut off BTH, but 3 go down on either side. They'll be first one to the flag, might either get the reset, but honestly, Bohm, this play, instead of going straight to the reset, checking top mid, checking for camo, because a reset alone is not gonna overcome a 3 capture deficit.
Yeah, I like that patient play there from Bohm, but he's gonna need some aggressiveness here in the final moments of this match. And it's not quite over mathematically, Magic, but we saw Cloud9 last year. They put in 3 caps in 45 seconds. I think that's the most unbelievable pace we've seen any team on Aquarius CTF, but it just goes to show it's possible. But I'd really say it's more realistic to put it at about 1 minute each run, maybe not 15 seconds. As BTH clock ticking closer and closer to striking midnight. But hey, you're on the winner's semi-side, so you're only getting sent to the lowers bracket here if you're BTH. And at this point, really, as the 4 seed, the 12 seed coming into this tournament, they're just playing with house money here. They've already got the pool play spot secured. At this point, I'm just playing to maybe steal some strats off of FaZe.
Honestly, that's a great point that you bring up. The idea that, you know, pool play spots are something to play for, but also just that competitive experience against the best of the best, because you can expect to see multiple rematches heading into Charlotte, and that experience could just be the difference maker. Flags out for both sides. It looks like we're heading back into that game number 2 with Optic. We'll let FaZe assumably secure the deal on that one. We'll keep you updated with the final results as they lead that series 2-0. We're back on board. Optic versus Space Station.
Ooh, interesting to note there, StelluR dropping the plasma pistol for the sniper, which makes perfect sense. Everyone's going to do that. However, if Optic isn't able to secure this overshield or that plasma pistol, could be interesting to note what happens here as a result of Optic Formal going down with that snipe now in the hands of StelluR. Hitting another one of those shots on Formal, getting him down to no shields. Formal gonna try to slide out of there, barely gets away from that frag grenade radius as he looks to double back on to the overshield. StelluR with no shields. This is the opportunity for Optic to steal this overshield with StelluR low shields and not looking at it.
The quick update, FaZe do come through with that game 3 win, 5-1, securing their spot in the finals. They'll go up against the winner of this series right here. Who else is going to be in the winners finals, because there can only be one team from Optic or Space Station. TriPPPeY with the overshield. He has the plasma pistol. That's the security that is not going to be used against him. Instead, he can use it to kind of bait out. Oh no, did that spike stick him?
Delayed gratification there for Bound as he lands the spike grenade on TriPPPeY. And we're tripping out because that was very late. That was really an unbelievable trade there. Did not expect that. And it was wild when you consider the delay, because I'm not sure if he would have gotten the kill, because he just had a little bit of that overshield left. So the extra second of ticking down of that overshield maybe was the reason for the death there. A lot of cause and effect. We saw Optic ultimately get that first overshield. StelluR did not have that plasma pistol there to negate it, as we saw TriPPPeY run him up all the way through back river, tower all the way over to Nest. And because of it, Optic maintaining a strong 5-kill lead.
Is this the zesty game you're looking for, Mikowski? Are they giving you enough zest?
These are these two teams, regardless of results, bring the zest. This is the very cream of the crop when you look at the best of the best the HCS has to offer. Optic Gaming, and really Optic Gaming, man, what a legendary organization. Really one of the GOATs alongside the likes of FaZe Clan. SSG, one of those newer organizations, doing a great job building their brand. Optic Gaming, one of my favorite organizations. Not to be biased at all, but they've done so much for the community. Really, as an esports fan, even if you are a fan of SSG, you have to be a fan of Optic because of what they've done for not only competitive Halo, but esports as a whole.
Right now, we do see Optic Gaming, one of the favorite orgs of Mikowski. Favorite in a lot of people's hearts. They have this 5-point lead in game number 2. Space Station has been putting up a fight, and Pznguin and Bound each with an opening kill. StelluR's trying to secure that new sniper. He has a drop wall, but he's holding on to it. He's gonna double back. Bound sneaks away with the sniper. StelluR giving a little bit of cover there at top mid. What can this rookie of the year do with the sniper? Well, BR is going to be enough for this kill. Rotating back, probably taking this tower high ground position to get better lanes to utilize that weapon.
That was a 2-possession game last we looked between these two teams. Is SSG able to bring it within 4 kills? Now 3, now 1 possession, 1 team wipe, separating these two teams from a flipped score. Eco trading out with APG and that heat wave, but it's going to go into the waiting hands of Lucid. If he can win this pip here with the use of that repulsor, little damage there, but he goes down to a grenade instead. So that back river spot almost becomes a point of contention here with the heat wave down. StelluR picking it up, TriPPPeY taking him down, and that heat wave is looking more like a hot potato.
Passing back and forth, but it might have your death signed right on top of it. Anybody that lays their hands on it is suddenly the priority target. And here's the shift of attention. Overshield is coming up. StelluR is taken down. I think it was Formal on the flank from top of sandbags, and now APG says that's all the opening he needed. He rotates through, drop wall in place, blocks a few rounds of damage, but Space Station Gaming are coming right back. They're trying to stop this overshield pickup, but to no avail. APG, now the most powerful player on the map.
APG, the most powerful player on the map, one of the most long-standing professionals we have here in the community, as he looks to make the use of that overshield. Doesn't find an opponent until it's halfway down, and APG all the way down now as Pznguin lays down the pink mist, and now SSG is only down 2.
The pink mist of the Needler just shredding through that overshield. Usually you'll see the green gun used in that way, but I tell you what, the Needler got the job done as well. Optic Gaming, their lead is shrinking. Only 3 points now. TriPPPeY not wanting to give up another. He knows Bound is above. Bound drops down from the heaven, and TriPPPeY is ready and waiting for him. He cleans up the kill, and it was just seconds ago a 3-point game, now doubled to 6.
Every time you blink, the score wildly changing here. It's just as it looked like SSG was gonna potentially tie this one up, maybe even take the lead. It's now a 6-kill spread once again. 2 possession, 2 team wipes. Space Station trying to inch it closer and closer towards that 4-kill deficit, but instead it's back to 6. And at the 30-kill mark, nearly the 40-kill mark, Magic, Optic Gaming might just start playing for trades. There you go.
Perfectly timed. Playing for the trade at bottom mid. They can go after the melees. They can trade out a kill for an assist. StelluR has to retreat, doubling back through that subway system tunnel, trying to get out of the line of sight from Optic, but Lucid is on the prowl. He finds one, make it 2 targets, cleans up one with a heat wave, and another trade that he's happy to take.
43-34, it's all Optic now. As Formal pushes up with that sniper rifle, such a beast in Call of Duty with it. He's equally as good here in Halo. He's gonna have to come up with a play here. 1v2 situation for that sniper. The pressure is too much as Formal goes down. APG sneaking away with another overshield though. And Magic, how many times have we seen that overshield really be the difference maker here on live fire? I'd even say G1 could have found themselves further in this tournament, maybe even in that winter semis, if not for more overshields on live fire.
Overshield has been so crucial time and time again. APG double kill. Doesn't even have to expend any sniper ammo. He uses that sniper now, tries to get a quick body shot onto Bound. 3 go down for Optic and Space Station. This is their only chance to stabilize. Optic needing 2 picks. Bound looking for a pick of his own. Any Optic player that peeks a little too far is gonna find the waiting scope of Bound. But such a tough position for Space Station. They don't have any lives to give up.
No lives to give up, but 5 shots to work with in that sniper. Might see a little bit of a flank here, maybe a flank rotation from underneath for Formal. Yeah, he's got the flank on. The attention on APG bounce back is to Formal. We should see him go down in very soon here as he does go down to that heat wave from Formal, and the flank is enough to finish off SSG here in game 2 as Optic take it and lead 2-0.
APG going 13-6 in this Slayer. Not the most kills. Lucid taking the most kills in the game, but only 6 deaths. Looking really strong, really safe play. Smart heads up moments from APG. We saw double kills across the screen. And even though it was a 50-49, it was pretty well held in control by Optic. I think they had the lead throughout the game, if I'm recollecting correctly. I don't remember a time that Space Station had the lead here.
Yeah, the closest SSG was able to get was 2. I believe it was at the 26-24 mark, I want to say. So right at the halfway mark, right before the Slayer starts, if you will, in the 30s. That's what a lot of people feel like. And I do too. I believe that as well. I really think Slayers get started in the 30s. We saw that earlier when Sentinels was down by +10, but once it got into the 30s, it was Sparty popping off with that killing frenzy, ultimately winning by almost 10, despite the 10-kill deficit. So right around the 30-kill mark is when things started to really separate, as opposed to heat up for these two teams. As you can see here, just 3 kills separating these two teams. 32-29. So even going into the 30s, Magic, we had a very, very close game.
There's the 2-point difference right there with StelluR. And that was a huge takedown as well. Using the Needler to stop the overshield was the possible potential pivot of the whole game. Unfortunate that StelluR and the rest of SSG couldn't really build off of that break that they had.
Yeah. And now the hopes are going to have to go here to a game 3. SSG up against the wall, down 2-0 to Optic. Those slow starts we saw from them in days 1, 2, and 3 are not the case here, as Optic is showing up here on Championship Tuesday.
Optic are showing up, and if you're here enjoying the Halo action, thank you so much for joining us today. This is really just a passion project from us to pour into these players, these teams, and to you as the Halo community. Excited to be here alongside of all of you. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody who is watching as we go into game number 3. Optic looking to secure their spot in the winners final. The space station ready to take it away from them, but they would need a reverse sweep, and Formal setting the pace with an early triple kill.
Less than 30 seconds off the clock, and Optic already has that flag at the 33% mark. SSG could be reeling here early, but Bound looking to take down Formal, who started off with that hot triple. Bound, as a result of taking out Formal, has that open lane through the Dynamos. Stops that flag for now with 3 down, all 4. Pznguin, this could be a huge stop here for SSG and a chance to counter.
So interesting. Lucid and Optic each have 3, and Bound and Pznguin have 3 and 2. Only half of the players have secured their first kill here. Usually you see that a little bit more evenly broken down, but it's really a story of those two duos right now. Pznguin adds another to his count, and StelluR finally breaking that goose egg 0, and he now has 1 kill on the board as he tosses the flag out to middle. Looks like Optic are quick to get to that reset.
A quick reset and a quick battle here for mid-map control. The winner of mid-map control, likely the next to pull a flag here as we see that early edge. Definitive edge, maybe even. Yes! 4 going down for SSG. Optic here with a chance to pull another flag. Last time we saw Formal not able to secure the run on this side of the map. Instead, now rotating towards the P side. Very smart recognition. I love that from Optic. Realize they didn't have the run there on car side. Why not try P instead?
It seems like it's working. You see Lucid with that MK, with that sidekick. You said we hadn't seen much of it here on Aquarius. Lucid shows us the mastery of that sidekick, that rapid fire sidearm. Can get the job done. A clean run from Optic. Not the conventional run through car side that you mentioned, but they were almost uninterrupted as they crossed the map.
Huge here. And every time SSG has gotten a flag out, it's just been bait. There's been at least one player for Optic waiting for that player to fly out of the base, and it's been easy pickings. Lucid looking to get an easy return here on that flag as he'll do just that. Now focusing his attention back towards those Dynamos. Lucid so powerful with the heat wave, and we're starting to see why.
You know, when I watch Optic, you said they're a favorite of yours, but when I watch their team play, it is just some of the no hesitation, smoothest team play. On that fight, Lucid had Bound down to 1 shot with the use of the heat wave, but he doesn't chase the kill. He immediately goes on to the reset. About 3 seconds later, TriPPPeY comes through with the kill. Lucid gets the assist. It's just this absolute trust in your teammates to have those lanes locked down. And Optic are the best at it with the team fire and making it look so smooth. The coordination on another level. TriPPPeY trying to put his team on another level. The double kill, milking his life, dodging out of the remnants of that dynamo grenade that nearly had his name on it.
There's a 1 HP and a dream for you there on TriPPPeY. Literally 1 health point. That's all he needed, though. Literally 1 health point. That's all he needed. And 1 cap might be all Optic needs here, Magic, as SSG has simply not put together the form or the belief enough to think they can come back here in this game, much less this series, as we see another flag go out for Formal. Pure domination with that heat wave. It's not Lucid now, it's Formal, as he earns himself the double kill and a potentially second score here for Optic.
Formal is at 12 and 4 right now, tripling up the number of kills to deaths. Pznguin, though, okay, we're seeing a little bit of an answer. The double kill doesn't get the triple, which is unfortunate that Pznguin was in a position that the only way to stop this run was with a full triple kill. 2 kills in the melee wasn't enough.
Formal going down there, but right before that, clutching up, winning that crucial 1v1. Bound, not able to really get the angle there from the low ground, but because of the resources used here for Optic Gaming, SSG has that opportunity to counter cap. Now all 4 up for each side. Flag past that halfway mark. Bound gonna look to stay in the back of the map, and he's gonna go back to the respawn screen. Eco, the only player alive now for SSG. He's got to win this piv on Lucid. No, he goes down, and so too do the chances of scoring that flag.
Eco finding himself last alive and in a 1v1 against Season 1's MVP. Unfortunate position for Eco, as he is not able to prevent that reset. 2-0 is the score, as it is in the series. More use of that sidekick, this time in the hands of TriPPPeY. The rapid fire, the lasering shots. And it looks like he's making his way over to the flag. That flag was probably 3 seconds away from being reset from idle. And TriPPPeY looking like he had all the time in the world to get his hands on it.
And he was the last player alive, free, almost like he had a full bodyguard crew around him, running that flag, extending it past the bottom mid 50% mark. But it's not going to matter as Pznguin ultimately returns that flag. And you have to wonder if the score here changed the strategy there for TriPPPeY. Usually a very smart player. Don't see him necessarily overextend. You probably could have counted that as an overextension, but with everything working here for Optic, they might as well try everything. Why not?
This is their chance to get a little creative with it if they want to. And we're going back to an old favorite. Lucid with the sidekick. He takes down one. He's going to get credit for the assist on that second. TriPPPeY has a heat wave, but a well-placed frag grenade might just stop him in his tracks, but it's formal with that slide flag pickup yet again. He rotates it nearly halfway just off of that slide from the base, making it so hard for Space Station to regroup, and now even harder because APG is locking down the middle of the map with the active camo. He gets the perfect from low ground, and 3-0 is the score. Optic are off to the races.
The pressure is just too much time after time. The mid-map control hasn't even really been up for contention, as we see APG here again with camo on that top P side. Spot's bound out there. Wow, eagle eyes from the OG as he ultimately trades out with that sticky grenade. Camo goes down as well, but just like in a Slayer magic, up big, up 3-0 here on the CTF. If you're Optic, you'll just continue to trade out. That's what they've afforded themselves with these big early leads.
This level of domination, very reminiscent of FaZe that we caught sight of in the mirrored series as they won this game out 5-1 to wait for the winner of this series in the winners finals. TriPPPeY has the heat wave in hand, a good thruster to get back to cover, just firing off a couple of warning bursts, letting Space Station know that he is present and he is ready for the push. Pznguin is lining up, just threading the needle on these bullets. But it's Eco on the flank that finally is forcing TriPPPeY a little bit of scramble here for Optic. Can Space Station Gaming capitalize on it? They're matching kill for kill. A trade comes through, 3 down on each side. There is a flagpole, but it's mirrored on the other side of the map.
Wow. That's a wild sequence right there. Only one player alive for each team, and they're both on the other side of the map pulling flags. Who's gonna win the return? SSG looking most likely, but it's TriPPPeY sneaking in despite being the last player alive. Is he gonna get this return for Optic? Yes! No! Space Station keeps it alive, and so too are their hopes in this game.
What a dynamo grenade from Eco! 2 players from Optic going down because of that dynamo grenade. StelluR needs to clean up Lucid. Pznguin is coming around on the flank. Lucid is so focused on taking down Pznguin, but Pznguin gets the win. He gets the flag. He's on the move. They need to get their first capture. The clock is ticking and not in the favor of Space Station. Finally, a break that they're looking for, but their flag is stolen at the last second. APG is in their base.
APG with the goal line stand. Unbelievable play. And 3 go down again for SSG. And this one, Magic, TriPPPeY finally getting his hands on another flag. This one looks like it could all but go in. My goodness, we're looking at a potential 4-0 game. Just a second ago, looked like it would have been a 3-1 game as another goal line stand potentially. No, 4-0 for SSG. And you have to wonder at this point, are they going to take the 3-0?
And you know who got the credit for the capture? APG, the player that snuck into the Space Station base at the end of that flag run, is credited with the capture. A heartbreaking, demoralizing capture for Space Station as they were trying to fight for anything they could get. They finally found a flag capture, but they're below that pace of time, that 1 minute per capture. They need to pick up the pace.
Hey, it was this very roster that scored 3 flags in 45 seconds. So until we see 45 seconds on the board, this one's still a game. APG pushing up with a little bit of dinos out, seeking more intel, it looked like, than damage. Didn't receive either, as Pznguin now has to push in alone. And with low shields, APG going to easily clean that up. Bound pushing in with the heat wave. He thinks he has the power position, excuse me, the power weapon, but it's APG with the power position instead. 2 flags out once again. Double kill clutch. Oh my goodness here. And if Magic, if they make it a 2-flag game with 2 minutes, SSG's right in it.
SSG could be right back in this game. StelluR captures the flag from that double kill. This was all but a game over at the 4-0, but back-to-back captures so quickly won by Space Station. Can they keep up this pace? Camo is at the top mid. Pznguin rotating for it, tossing some grenades at the jump up, but it's TriPPPeY on the opposite side jump up instead. He gets dropped. Camo is top mid. I think it's TriPPPeY who's gonna come away with that active camo. This is getting into danger time now for Space Station below the 90-second mark, and Lucid is causing chaos.
Here it is. This could be the last push of the game, but for now it's Bound needing to play defense here. So APG, all he needs to do is milk out time, milk out his life. And ultimately goes down, but he pulls Bound back into a disadvantageous position where he's out in the open. Formal gonna clean him up. Chances are diminishing here unless Eco can clutch up once again. Has to hit that G-slide to get that extra little bit of edge out of the map, out of the spawn for Optic, but APG still takes him down. This flag is at bottom mid, and with 45 seconds to go, Magic, they have to score right here.
The bottom mid run, not usually the first choice for a flag, but when the clock is working against you, the closest distance, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Space Station took that direct route, but they're caught in the bottom mid. Just a grenade trap waiting to happen. Optic reset the flag. 25 seconds to go. Optic looking at the winners finals on a 3-0 sweep.
Optic looking really, really good. You could even say that some of the games, some of the series, they didn't look quite like that World Championship caliber that we saw from the last year, especially online. Instead, it's been Optic getting better and better each day, and really that's part of the strategy in these tournaments, Magic. You want to make sure you play your best Halo at the end, as we're seeing that from Optic here on a Championship Tuesday as they secure the Game 3 win and the 3-0 sweep against SSG. They'll move on to our winners finals to take on FaZe.
The ramifications, the result of this match, you know what this is giving us? A rematch from the weekend. Optic Gaming versus FaZe. And I have to say, with Space Station being taken down, they need to prove themselves in the lower bracket.